So my name is Ciraolo. I'm a partner in Kostelanetz Fink. I'm based in the Washington, D.C. office. We also have an office in New York. I think my first year was when I was at the Department of Justice, or maybe shortly after I left the tax division. So I think it's been about 4 years, 4 or 5. I'd have to ask Kurt. Oh, it's critical. So our firm recently expanded with several new, more junior attorneys. And one of the things we're focused on is making sure that we explain to them the value of membership in their professional organizations and active participation, not just listing on your resume, but attending the meetings, attending the panels, getting to know the speakers, and getting involved, participating. It's incredibly important to professional development. It's also a really good thing to do to get to know folks and to know who to call when you have a question and what firms and what attorneys are working on what issues. It's just very collaborative, and it's a wonderful way to enjoy the practice of law. The HTI has always been a leader in professional conferences. The time and effort that goes into the conferences, obtaining the speakers, selecting the topics, coordinating all the logistics, bringing together such a large, diverse group of practitioners, it's really impressive, and it's a bright moment each year as people really look forward to it. A lot of the speakers are hoping that they'll get invited year after year, not just in private practice, but within the government as well. And so I think it's going to continue to have that role and to draw wonderful topics and speakers. And I look forward to it every year, and I hope to attend later this year. So I really love my practice area. So first and foremost, I love the topics. I like getting the agenda and looking at what topics are being covered and the various speakers that are invited. They're always top-notch leaders in their field. I learn so much from the materials and attending the panels. Beyond that, just seeing everyone again. Oftentimes, people are coming from all over the world. And so this is an opportunity to see someone that you normally wouldn't see frequently throughout the year. And so reconnecting with friends and colleagues is fantastic. Obviously, the location can't be beat. It's probably the best location of all conferences in the tax space. Honolulu is just gorgeous, and the conference really knows how to make the most of the location. So. And just working together with everyone. And the sponsors are amazing. I should say thank you to all the sponsors of HTI, because year after year that I've attended, the sponsors just up their game every year in terms of their tables and the information they provide and the resources and the giveaways. And it's always a fun time to walk around and talk to all the sponsors. So one of the ways I found that it's different is people, when they go, they seem to really be all into the conference. And maybe it's because of the location, because so many people are traveling from such, such a distance to get there, that I find that when people are there, they're just plugged in. Whereas if I'm at a conference in DC or New York, I love it, and they're fantastic conferences, but oftentimes there's a part of me that's like, I have to take a break and run back to the office, or I'm going to have a meeting here or a meeting there. Whereas when I'm in Honolulu, I'm really at the conference, and so there's that benefit. Plus, everyone is so nice. I don't know how else to describe it. There's just a feeling of collegiality, and everyone is so polite, especially after the last several years where there's a lot of discord in our country. The HTI conference just seems to push all that to the side. Everyone's just happy to see you and so pleasant and so kind, and it's just a nice place to spend. I think it's almost a week. It's several days. The speakers at this conference have been able to draw over the years is truly impressive. I mean, from the keynotes down to every panel and every speaker. And the speakers really appreciate the invitation. They're grateful to be asked to participate. And so they come prepared. The materials are really detailed. You're getting cutting edge news. You can tell because you'll be sitting in the panel and the panelists will, or in the room and the panelists will talk about a case that just came out the day before, or a news release that the government just issued that afternoon, and now 2 hours later you're hearing about it from the panelists. So the speakers really care about this. And look, I think so many of the conferences I attend, I would say the same thing about, but there's something about the HTI conference. They just seem to draw such a wonderful caliber of speakers. And so certainly at the top of the heap in terms of the types of conferences that we experience in the tax space. So I think exposure to the speakers that we were just talking about, this level of speakers and the caliber of panelists, that's invaluable to a young lawyer. Also, I think the collegiality is important. Oftentimes young lawyers will go to, or junior lawyers will go to a conference, and if they're not really plugged in yet, they're just starting, conferences can be intimidating. You walk into a conference room and there's 200 people and you just don't even know where to begin. Whereas Hawaii, the HTI just seems to gravitate towards those folks, and especially the first time and new attendees. I would say the ABA tax section does this as well. HTI just draws them in and makes sure, like, if you're relatively new, we're going to make sure that you're getting invitations to social events, that you know where to go, that someone's greeting you, that you're, when you walk around and you look at the sponsor panels, people are saying, hi, welcome, I know your firm, so great to have you here. And so I think it's really important. I also think that HTI really tries to make it affordable because oftentimes, younger lawyers or junior lawyers are on a budget. They're on a marketing budget, and firms, and I don't know if we'll see this going forward post-pandemic, but firms were curtailing for a while what they would invest in. And so I think for younger lawyers, they can rest assured that if they go to the firm and say, this is worth the investment, that's an accurate statement. Well, if they were invited to speak, I'd say, you said yes, right? I mean, that's a no-brainer, as we like to refer to it. So if a young professional has been invited to speak and they're wondering, is it worth the time? Is it worth the investment of their effort? Is it worth any cost that may not be covered? The answer is absolutely unqualified yes. If it's an attendee or a participant, the answer is the same. For a few other different reasons, though, it's because of the exposure to your colleagues and to people come to HTI that do not come to other conferences. They're coming from Japan, they're coming from overseas, they're coming from all over, and they may make the HTI their one conference during the year, as opposed to a lot of us that may travel around the country and go to different conferences. And so to go to the HTI may be the only time you're going to be exposed to those participants, those speakers, those organizers. It's just, it's a unique opportunity, and as always, grateful to be a part of it.